chair and prepare to feel better about your last campaign. This is Fail and Fortune, epic fails, unexpected feels, and tabletop truth.
Welcome to Fail and Fortune, the podcast where critical failures aren't just in the dice, they're in the editing booth, the inbox, Google Drive. I'm your host, Dave, and today's guest is an actual play legend with over 460 episodes and more than 375 unique TTRPGs played. He's a two-player podcast powerhouse, the host of Party of One, Jeff Stormer. Jeff, welcome to the show. For a first episode, like I said earlier, I've hit this one out of the park. You have to have more than a few recording nightmares or unscripted magic over the course of your shows.
No, actually, it's all been flawless. I've been waiting to tell you that until we were on mic. It's been smooth sailing the whole time. Couple things have maybe gone a little wrong along the way. I always say, I don't actually, know anything as much as I, anything I know is the result of I made a mistake or I screwed something up at some other moment along the way. My entire podcasting experience has been a series of terrible mistakes and then shameful realizations and then necessary corrections in that order. Occasionally out of that order.
That's why we're here. We want to hear the shameful mistakes. We want to hear behind how the sausage is made because, everybody wants to start a podcast, but nobody knows what's involved in running a podcast. So with that, how did Party of One get started and what did it look like at the beginning?
What did it look like at the beginning? So Party of One in its earliest iteration, the full backstory is my wife, Jen Frank, producer of the show, who I'm sure has an entirely different set of stories of things that have gone horribly wrong over the years. But she really pitched me the idea more than anything because we had first moved in together. I had left a long-time D&D game, and she offhandedly was like, well, why don't you find some two-player games we can play together? And then that became a thing that we really looked into and played a lot of games, and I built a little bit of a library. And then I had been listening to some other shows. This was 2015, so there were, 8 of them at the time. But
for sure, yeah, Drunks and Dragons, I think. And,
we were kind of in that 2013, 2014 was that first kind of actual play wave, sort of pre-Critical Role as things were just sort of taking shape. Then we, I had been listening to a few of these shows and was like, oh, I want to a dear friend of mine, speaking of podcast disasters, dear friend of mine who was also a podcaster pitched me or came to me and basically said, I have a podcast. I want to expand it into a podcast network. All right. Do you have shows that you would like to pitch me for this network that I am launching? You will notice Party of One is not on a network. And that is partially because my friend who was pitching his podcast to expand into a podcast network, that didn't actually happen. He pitched these ideas and then the whole project fell through. So I had given him this lineup of pitches, and on there, Jen again kind of said to me hey, we play a lot of these two-player games and you listen to these actual play shows. Why don't you give that a shot? And we kind of said, all right, I'll give it a shot and we'll see what happens. I said, we'll give it a shot. I'll do it until I get bored of it. And, that day might come any day now. We're not sure, but it's been about 10 years and we're still trucking.
Oh, like I said, 460 episodes. And that's numbered. So I see you have a bunch of other, bonus episodes.
Side bonus things. And numbered episodes were
500.
So, I think it might be over that 500 point at this. It's not 500 numbered episodes yet, which matters, but I think that we're close, got to be close to 500, things that live on the feed at this point.
And I'm guessing in those 10 years, your original gear setup has had to have changed.
I bought a $20 headset from a Best Buy, that then eventually expanded into a $30 Blue Yeti Ice, then blue whatever, the Blue Snowball Ice. It was a Blue Snowball. Then it was a Blue Yeti.
Snowball sitting right up there.
Then it was a Yeti. Then after the Yeti died 3 separate times while I was trying to record over the course of about a year and a half, I finally upgraded one final time to an XLR USB combo mic. It is this microphone that is sitting right in front of me. This guy's been trucking for 6 years and has not had a single problem.
Oh, the Amazon special probably too.
I got this. I got the arm. It was all kind of a bundle deal and life-changing. Life-changing.
Listening back to our first episodes on the Arcane Dice, and it was us two Yeti, blue Yetis or blue snowballs
Sure.
on a table, just kind of recording into a computer, nothing, whatever. It was a complete fish tank.
Oh yeah, sure. Speaking of failures, I don't know what happened. I don't know why Jeff made this decision once upon a time, but advice to the listener, don't delete your masters. Don't delete your raw audio files. You're going to go back to those one day. The first, I've wanted to, there was a decade-long dream of, going back to our first, 20, 25 episodes and just, remastering them. Can't do it because I deleted the raw audio files. I've only got the finished episode release files, so the audio quality on those is what it will be forever.
Yep.
But the other side of that, the actual helpful perspective on that isn't just me cursing myself for the rest of my life, is the nice thing about doing the show that we've done for as long as we have is you can hear us figure out the basics. You can hear Jen and I both kind of figure out audio editing and figuring out our process and trying out different technical things, and you get to hear the audio get better and better, which I think tells the listener there's a growth.
Yeah, most definitely. First episode, any long-running podcast, first episode to the last episode, everyone starts in the living room, 4 guys hanging around one little mic.
Every single
yelling.
Podcast in the world starts with the same sentence. Sorry about the audio quality on episode 1. I promise it gets better. Everyone.
Right, exactly. Right. So do you have a ritual now before you hit record?
It's largely, it's all technical stuff, but I do have a tiny personal ritual before I hit record. Obviously, we run through, tech stuff. We do our mics. We sync our audio. We record locally. We record multiple versions. Recently, a dear friend of mine, Austin from Secret Histories of Nerd Mysteries, she recommended me a trick that I did before hitting record that has changed my life, and I impart this to you right now.
I'll write this down.
I record about 30 seconds of room tone, as a standard process to capture basic things so that I can mute audio on the back end. When I recorded with her, she sat down, we started to record, and she said words to me that melted my brain, and I've imparted this to every podcaster I've spoken to because I'm I have to pass on this gift. She says to me, hey, I'm going to type a sentence real quick. I'm just going to type myself a sentence in Notepad. That way you've got the sound of me typing in a vacuum. So if I happen to type anything while we're recording, you've got that audio and you can mute it on the back end just so that you have it. I cried. At that moment.
That's actually mind-blowing.
Right? I was it never occurred to me. I was you could just fucking ask for this. I should have asked if I could swear. That's fine. You could just
Oh, go ahead. 30 years in the Army, and I'm teaching a course right now, so every second word is the F word for me, and I'm fighting hard.
It never occurred to me that you could just... I was I've been podcasting for 9 years. You can just ask someone to do that. Yeah, I spent 9 years digging in between sentences going I think I've got the audio of you typing. I think I've got it. So that has become my ritual. Is I capture my room tone. I type myself the same sentence every recording, and it's my own little joke that makes me happy. I type myself the sentence, "Look, Bart, I'm typing on a loom." It's my little Simpsons joke. It makes me happy. That's my I do that. I laugh at it, and then I feel I'm in the moment.
That is amazing. You blew my mind. My mind is blown.
Right? Truly.
And we all know you can eliminate the background noise. I mean, Audacity, every DAW, everything will eliminate. And to think and we play a game. We got people typing all the time, with an RPG.
People are taking
notes.
the doing, and so I've started yes, exactly. And so like it never occurred to me after how many hours of like trying to find the exact like audio snippet waveform of somebody typing that I can like pump into my DAW and like clear it. It never once occurred to me that I could just be like, hey, can you like scribble something on a notepad so that I can get the sound of your pencil on the paper? That way I've just got it in a vacuum.
Click your mouse really loud.
Yeah, can you like click a couple mouses, do a couple mouse clicks, take a sip of like a particularly loud sip of water, and then type yourself a sentence? That way I've got all my bases covered and we can just make this sound beautiful.
Of course, I've never thought of it either, right?
You are not alone. I didn't think of it. And every podcaster I've talked to since then, I have this exact moment before we get on microphone.
Mind blown. Completely blown.
Yeah.
Fail in Fortune is the name of the show. So let's hit it. Your worst production disaster. I mean, the one that made you question your sanity.
I've been thinking about this question. I've got a couple answers. I think I've got a couple different answers. I think the one that I'm going to go with most readily is the time that I almost snapped my own neck while recording. I think that's probably, if I were to point to a single production disaster, almost simultaneously breaking my neck and like slicing off my ankle is probably the one that I would point to as like a production-wise didn't get worse than that.
That's not a tech fail, but I'll accept it.
I've got some tech fails after, but I do need to tell this story because
I have to hear it as well because that is.
I was recording an episode, so I used to have a very like 1-bedroom apartment recording setup, which is to say, in our bedroom, we had the mattress, we had the bed, the box spring, the mattress, like the frame. We had the nightstand, which was next to our bed, flush with the wall. So it was bed, nightstand, wall. What I would do when I would record, because we didn't have space, I didn't have like a booth or anything like that, I would slide this nightstand out about like 6 feet. I had this, my dear friend got me this like industrial strength windscreen to make my audio clearer. I would lift it. It was about 15 pounds. I would pick it up, put it on my nightstand, crawl over my bed, crouch in a cross-legged position with this giant windscreen in front of me, my microphone, and I would record. My cat, at the time, every time I did this, was convinced that I was dying because it was so like such a bizarre series of movements that the cat would be like, hey, are you trying to like curl in a corner and die? Get out of there. And she would come over and get stressed and try to like get me out of the corner. One time I am recording. We are mid-episode and like something happens in the apartment. I don't exactly remember what it was. But I had to like step away. There was like something happened in the apartment that like required my attention. So I am trapped with the bedroom on one side, the wall on the other, gigantic windscreen in front of me, and I'm like, I have to get out to the like the other room of the apartment in a hurry. So I'm like, I guess I'm gonna jump over my setup here, my computer, my windscreen. I'm going to jump over this because it's the fastest way forward. So I stand up. I go to, like, power step over my booth. And it's not until I am mid-stride that I realize that my headphone cable, because of the crisscross applesauce way that I've been sitting, my headphone cable has tangled itself around my ankle. So I stand up. I start to step. It like bolas me. Like I get like bola tangled in my ankle and it like snares me. The entire windscreen comes tumbling after me and I fall face first on the floor, narrowly dodging this 20-pound windscreen that's about to collapse on me. And the crucial detail is that I was not on mute. So I had to come back a minute late after figuring out what had happened in my apartment, get everything set up, and I just hear my guest go, "Hey, are you okay? That sounded bad." And I was like, "I
you
think I
alive?"
almost died."
Yeah. Yeah.
I nearly
So
almost died.
you had a real life crit fail.
This was as much of a crit fail as could possibly happen. It was almost a death save situation. I think I'm trying to think. The other big tech fail that I think has happened. You know what it is? There was an episode. This is technically not an episode of Party of One, but it was a podcast that I was recording. That was the worst technical fail of my life. Like, the worst, like, systems, technical, behind-the-scenes software fail of my life. I was a guest on a, like, nerdy trivia game show podcast that, like, some dear friends were, like, putting together.
All right.
I was a contestant. So it was a trivia game show. That is such a crucial detail. It was done in a tournament structure. This was the finals of the tournament. I had made it to the finals of this tournament. It was like the end of the first season. They have me on. It's me and a partner. We're up against two other teams. We're in the finals. To this point, it is not a brag. It's a little bit of a brag to say that I have crushed it. I love trivia. I love bar trivia. I love trivia so much. My performance in this final episode is terrible. I lost my mojo. I am getting questions wrong that I should have gotten right. I am, like, backtracking on things that I should have known. I am bungling it. At the time, this was the first laptop that I used to record. And it was old. It was bad. And the power supply was fried, which meant that if it wasn't connected to AC power, it would eventually just shut off. It wouldn't tell me, hey, it's getting close. It just would get to like 45. At some point, my laptop has become unplugged in the middle of this game show final. And so I'm in the middle of it where it's like 2 questions away from the last question. So like it's like the final bit of this and we have lost so badly. Screen goes dead black. Just complete computer shut down. And I'm like, oh crap. I just lost everything. I just lost all of the audio that we're using to record this episode. And like it's a game show, so it's not one that we can go re-record.
You can't re-record. Because now you know all the answers.
Exactly. So what I have to do, because we did not have backup recordings, we did not have like a remote central recording that would have like captured my audio. It was only the local recordings, which meant if audio's not there, the finals of the season don't happen.
Right.
So what I had to do is everybody else sent me their audio and I had to re-record my lines as though I was delivering them for the first time, which meant I had to
relive this twice.
I had to beef this game show twice. There are clips of like I had to record lines where I'm like laughing at how bad I've done and just going like, no, I didn't get that one, and like make it sound genuine. There's a reason that I record 3 different versions of audio for every single thing that I do. 2 remote backups and a local recording. And it's because I never want to again be in a position where I have to pretend to do badly at a game show.
I know that pain. We have an episode of Arcane Dice. The audio was so bad.
Sure.
Could not clean it up to save my life. And I had to actually re-record the episode as a dead character narrating what happened during that episode.
Yep.
I mean, maybe one of our better, but exhausting. I know.
So I mean, and it's brutal. It's brutal because you're trying to like. I will say the funny way that like history tends to rhyme or things come full circle. The host of that podcast, a dear friend of mine, he was on Party of One and almost not the same thing, but like similar to what you're saying. Like when we finished, he listened to his audio and he's like, "Hey Jeff, my audio is ruined. I don't know what happened. I've never had this problem before." And he sends me a message. He's like, "I know what you did with the game show. Don't worry. I got this." and he proceeded to record a full 90-minute episode of Party of One, just his audio in the exact same way that I had, as like a repayment for the favor of, you saved this episode and went through this. I got you. I will do the same.
That is amazing. And I understand. It's like your laptop quit out of embarrassment for you.
It's so funny you say that, because there is a moment, like, again, the way that we re-recorded everything for the game show was that they sent me the audio file, which meant that, like, from their perspective, I truly just disappear. And so I got to hear the audio of them, like, talking about it after I had X'd out or blocked. And their exact response is, did Jeff just rage quit? Did Jeff just get so mad that he quit? And, like, because I have to, like, piece together what has happened. Then I have to DM the host on socials to be like, hey, I'm so sorry. My stuff just died. So there's like a 2-minute period where they're like, did Jeff, is he mad? Like, he knows this is like a game.
Yeah, a rage quit. Sometimes you got it. You got to cut the losses. But
sometimes
I mean, when you're doing all the audio, I guess that's not an option.
Yeah, no. There's a reason that my takeaway is I redundancy. I had to record so many versions of the audio.
Oh, I get it. One of our guys, so many times, I don't know, a setting changes, something like that. I don't double check, and there's an episode of me. My mic's not recording and everybody else is. So one of the guys, he started now. We started now. So many times it's happened. He hits record on Audacity when we start and just goes through with that. And been a lifesaver more than 8 times.
Here's the thing. Actually, fairly recently, I broke my process fairly recently and didn't record multiple versions of our audio. I was recording with a game designer. They didn't have Audacity or any local recording stuff. And I was like, okay, I can just do one version of it. I'll do this one local backup. And I didn't realize 5 minutes in that my remote backup had stopped recording. For whatever reason, it just stopped. So we got to the end of the 90-minute recording, and we're like, so that was a fun game among friends, right? Like, that was just, that was a good time among buds that no one's ever going to experience.
But you had them on again after.
I did, yep.
Yeah.
Actually, no, wait, I may not have. I think I got to follow up with them. I think I owe them an email.
I owe you a game. Is there any guests you wish you could have re-recorded?
Guests I wish I could have re-recorded? I don't think so. I will say no, kinda. I'll say kinda. I think there are a few guests, and the nice thing is that with the way the show is functioned, like, the structure of the show really is self-contained one-shot, me and one other guest. So we've been able to do, like, multiple episodes with a few guests. There are a few guests that I wish I had known more about them or known them more personally before we recorded that first time. Because there are a few guests that, like, I wish we had... There are a few guests that, like, we did an episode, and the episode was good to fine. And it wasn't until sometime after we recorded that I realized we had something super specific in common. Like, we had a really specific, like, shared passion or, like, shared interest or, like, a hobby that we were both super excited about. And then later on, like sometimes years later, we would sit down and record another episode that is themed around that shared hobby. And the episode is electric. Like, the energy is just off the charts because we both found the thing that we are not normal about. And, like, those are the ones that I always am kind of like, I wish I had known this about you earlier, because it, like, let me get to the heart of a great episode much earlier than we did.
So much more. And see, in my mind, what you said, I was like, went the totally other direction, and I'm glad you didn't find out something horrible about something mid-episode or... Well,
never mid-episode. I will say never mid... Actually, hold on, that might not even be true. Never mid-episode. I will say we've never found something out mid-episode. On a few occasions, there are 460 numbered episodes on the feed, but not all 460 of those episodes live on the feed, because unfortunately, a few times, like, things have come out about guests years after we've recorded, and I've had to kind of be like, you don't get to be on my, you don't get, like,
right?
Your work is not on my platform.
Exactly.
One time, I will say, I think 1 or 2 occasions, somebody has made a decision during play that colored the rest of the game that we played together to such a degree that I've kind of had to afterwards be like, we can't. Be like, I listened to this, we can't drop this. We cannot release this on the feed. It just, I'm happy to re-record. I'm happy to find some other time. If you're not interested, I can always book another guest. But like, there are, I think, maybe 2 or 3 occasions where something happened where I was like, this episode's not going out in the world. Like, somebody made a gameplay decision where I'm like, this is a thing that I see where your brain is at. This is not a decision that can go out onto a public feed.
Yeah. Maybe in your home game, but
sure. There was a thing of like, oh, you're playing this like a home game, which is cool and interesting and special and exciting, but it means that you've made a choice that cannot translate to being on mic.
On the internet forever. Yeah, no, I get that. Tell us about a gameplay disaster. We covered tech. The game collapsed under you, and it doesn't even have to be party of one. It could be solo or not.
I got a party of one episode. There's an episode that I point to. It's a game that I love. It's a game that I think is really fascinating and interesting. It is a game that I played with the designer, who is a dear, dear friend of mine. She and I sat down to play a game together. It was a game that she had written about women in England during the Blitz in World War II. Like doing various like fire. I was thinking it was specifically like firefighting during the Blitz in World War II.
Okay.
Beautiful game. So excited to play it. I had a character that I loved. I was so excited. This was so interesting. It was a premise that I was like hooked about and I'd been thinking about for days. So excited. Sat down to record. She's running me through this game. She presents me a situation, like we're talking about character, we're really delighted. I proceed to however the gods of statistics chose to spite me that day. What was supposed to be a game about like ordinary people, about like women in World War II, like protecting their communities and doing emergency services work, turned into a game about one lady losing everything in her life to a series of horrible fires. I genuinely don't think this was a powered by the apocalypse game, so it was 2d6. You're trying to get 10 or better. 7 and 9 is like a mixed success. I don't think I got a mixed success that game. I think I truly just failed every single roll. Roll. Like, the character just suffered and died. It was so bad. It was the worst I've ever rolled in a game. I failed every single move. Every time something bad was supposed to happen, it happened, which meant that the character was just in a building. The building caught fire. Everything that she tried to rescue died, and she left the country in shame. Like, it was such an absurd calamity of disasters that I was just like, I gotta release this just so that somebody can hear this experience happen.
The statistical improbability.
The statistic? My friend Erica, the guest on the episode, she said at the end of it, she goes, Jeff, I don't think I've heard anybody roll that badly in my life. I can't believe that your dice rolls actually like changed the theming of the game. I was like, I don't know how to process this, my friend. It was not great.
So, what, 370? I read on Blue Sky 375.
I think it's like if my counting is correct, it's somewhere in the 375 area.
Have you ever tried a mechanic that just completely flopped on air?
Completely flopped on air.
Other than the one you just described, where you
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think that's the Apocalypse Dice fault. I think that's
that was
all
just
you.
Pure random chance.
Right.
That's on me. That's on my shoulders. Something that purely did not work. I'm gonna say yes. A few times. I think there are a few instances. I have a really good one, and this led to a really important decision in the show's evolution, and worked out for the best. But there is an instance where a game just went badly on a purely kind of mechanical basis, and I was I can't do this anymore. I'm pretty sure, I'd have to check the feed to confirm. I believe it was the last time that we played actual Dungeons and Dragons on the podcast.
Oh my.
We made the decision around 2020 to just not play D&D anymore. There are enough other games. And I want to say the last time that we did, there were a lot of reasons for that, but part of it is that the last time that we did, the experience was just bad. Mechanically, this was I was talking to another podcaster. They had pitched me an idea, and I was let's give it a shot. And they were I want to make a 20th level character, something that I've never done in a D&D game. I want to make the most powerful character and just see how it shakes out. And I was cool.
The end game.
I'm going to build an end game level encounter. We sit down and start talking, and they proceed, and I'd say half of the episode is just them going, well, actually, I've got this ability, so whatever you're doing right now, I'm just going to sidestep it and kill them in one hit. So, it doesn't... And, every single thing that I had written and planned, it was okay, yeah, I mean... And, you can kind of hear the guest at first be yeah, I feel so cool. And then we both just kind of reach a moment of, We both reach a moment of, okay, yeah, but, I'm not doing anything. I've backed myself into a corner where there's not really a game happening. And you can both hear us kind of go all right, well, that was kind of backfired on us in a pretty legendary way.
I guess that's why there's not a lot of level 20 adventure paths for that reason.
I think that what I took away from the experience was there is the game structure changes at that point where you are no longer doing individual kind of adventure things, and you are powerful enough to be doing godly politics at that point because individual challenges just don't faze you. And I was all right, well, and also I'm pretty sure that the challenge rating system just does not work at that level because I was throwing CR 30 or 40 encounters, and they were just yeah, I'm gonna win. There's nothing you can do. And I was or I can kill you in one hit, which doesn't work for a 2-player format at all.
No, it doesn't. Most memorable rules blunder.
Most memorable rules blunder. Gosh, that's actually harder because that makes me look bad, and I am immaculate.
But I mean, 375 games, you can't learn them all.
I've done some real. I know it. Names have been changed. Names on all things have been changed to protect the innocent. I played a game with a performer, an actual play performer, and I were playing a game together. And there was the way that the game was structured. Basically, I didn't realize when I had read the game that the way the book was mapped out, there was the rules of play. There was game master advice, and then there was a structured adventure that you were supposed to follow in play with consequences for actions that you take, and explaining some of the mechanics of play through action and being if you do this, this will happen to your character. This is reflected in the rules that you can find in the play section. It's a rough episode that I genuinely considered not releasing because of how much of it is my guest and I going, so something I think is supposed to happen here? I think? And then 40 minutes into the episode, we both go, I'm supposed to be following this path of events. And then the episode takes off like a rocket. Once we start playing the game correctly, once we start following the text as written, suddenly we have a great experience. But I was I gotta leave in this 40 minutes of, okay, so I guess this
fumbling
is a thing. And we fumbled our way through the first half of the episode. And I felt terrible.
There is not a TTRPG player alive who has read the rulebook.
In full,
No,
memorized, it doesn't exist. I've
No,
played
it does not
375 of them, and the number that I've read in full and was like, I know this, 7, maybe 8. If I'm eight, if I'm really deep diving.
You just flip to the page you're looking for.
You find the thing you're looking for, and you wing the rest.
Fortune. Obviously, it can't all be fails. The most emotionally powerful moment you've ever recorded.
Most emotionally powerful moment that I've ever recorded. That's such a good question. I think, like, there are times when, Party of One is an interesting show because, like, to me, I always say, like, it's an interview show wrapped in an actual play. So, like, my immediate thought is the times that I have made someone cry unironically when they're just in the moment on mic. Those are the things that, like, really, really hit me. I'd say, like, a moment that was really gratifying fairly recently was we had an episode. I played a game with a podcaster who had never done actual play or never played a role-playing game before. He had played video games.
Okay.
He had no context for TTRPGs. Yeah. After we played, we sat down, we went through the experience. He messaged me immediately, and he was like, hey, so, like, this is the coolest thing I've ever done, and, like, I am gonna, like, figure out how to do this in my own day-to-day life. Like, are you cool with that? Like, he was like, do you have any advice? I'm addicted to this kind of storytelling. And I was just like, yeah, you are. You are, and you're welcome. I was like, nothing has made me feel more like I could rip a phone book in half than being able to, like, then after that experience, sitting down and hearing, like, I think I'm in love with this. That are the times that I've really made someone cry, I think, are my go-to answers.
So, making somebody cry, would it be because of the game, just the guest, or just how the story came together?
The story and the game, like, work together in just such a way that, like, we come to this. I've got a really specific example. Recorded with a podcaster. We had never met, but became really, like, close friends afterwards. They and I, like, were playing this, like, sci-fi game, and we've created these two characters that, like, were close friends. Like, our starting relationship is that they are, like, extremely close friends. And over the course of play, the premise of the game is called Kingdom, and, like, the premise of the game is, like, you're a community that is racing towards, like, a major life-changing decision. And over the course of that experience, we realized that our characters fell on, like, hard opposite sides of that decision. Like, and we did not see eye to eye, and we were taking actions that were hurting each other. It was like, there were knives in backs, like, it was brutal. And there is a moment at the end of that episode when we sit down after every horrible thing that has happened, and, like, we're facing the inevitability of the decision that we've like, enacted. And we had established, like, this was on a spaceship. We had established that there was, like, a, like, fast food restaurant. And, like, our character sits down, and my character gives their character a milkshake. Because that was a thing that we shared when we were friends.
There you go.
And, like, we have this, like, quiet moment, and I can hear my guest on the other side, like, crying a little bit. And so I kind of give them the check-in, like, on mic and off mic of, like, hey, are you good? Like, we can take a pause, we can stop. And they're like, no, I want to be in this moment. I want to be overcome with this emotion. And we made the decision. The big crux decision was, does the spaceship, like, continue past... They have found a planet that they could possibly, like, land on. Do they take this shot and make a community, or continue to act as a spaceship? And as we're landing, like, we both have these moments of, like, our lives are about to irreparably change in ways that we want, in ways that we don't want. And I just remember, like, both of us in tears at this moment, and, like, finding this, like, deep emotional well, and getting to, like, share this vulnerable moment together. And then afterwards we just sit for a moment holding back sobs, and we're like, that was one of the best games I ever played, right? Like, we're friends for life now, right? Like, we're ride or die, right?
Right.
Life changing.
That is amazing. And that is the beauty of role-playing games.
Sure.
I mean, it's not planned, it's unexpected, out of left field, and you've got this magical lightning in a bottle moment, and it's just, like you said, life-changing, eye-opening.
Yeah. It was the best. There's nothing like it.
So, what about fans? Obviously, 460 episodes, you have to get fan mail, fan whatever. Any of them reached out about a moment they thought was like utterly amazing or life-changing for them?
Yes, and it's partially like who it was that reached out that really like there's kind of two halves, right? I think like there's two things. There's two things, and there's two very different kinds of like deeply surprising experiences that have happened. One of them is there have been a few occasions where I've like reached out to a guest that I have like said is like a swing in the dark. They're either never going to see this email or they're not going to or they're going to politely decline. And when they come back and say, yeah, Jeff, I've been a fan of this podcast for a long time. Like I've been following your work for years. Like you do. And then you get that moment of like, oh crap, this person that I admire has been listening to my stuff. Oh, I don't know how to process that. The other
unexpected.
The other is that I got a text from my boss, and it was a week that I had gotten laid off. So it was technically my soon-to-be ex-boss.
The ex-boss, okay.
Soon-to-be ex-boss because they had, like, laid us off as of X date in the future, basically. They had been like, we are terminating the position, you know, it was like November 1st, we're terminating it January 1st. So it was like, you've got like a month left. We're all just kind of sitting around. And one night, I get a text from my soon-to-be ex-boss. And she says to me, Jeff, I'm at a party. I'm chatting with people. We're talking about podcasting. We're talking about stories. I just spent 25 minutes telling these people how much I like Party of One. I don't know what Dungeons & Dragons is. I don't know what a role-playing game is. But I know your show. And I like your show. I like what you do. And I was like, that rules. Like, that rules to such a profound... And then later on, my dad sent me basically the same text, and I was like, that's even weirder, frankly.
Right.
But you know what?
I mean, your parents should support you.
They should. Your parents should support you, and I'm so happy that they do. But also, you know, just naked, realistic expectations is that, like...
Your dad should not know about your podcast.
I don't expect my parents to understand me playing Dungeons and Dragons in a microphone. Right. Like, that's not a thing that I'm like... So my dad going like, I don't get what a role-playing game is, but I like listening to you play them. I was like, I could do a backflip right now. I won't, because I've already almost broken my neck once while podcasting, and I won't do it again. But I could if I wanted to.
I listened to your last episode, 460 Mirror Match.
Oh, Mirror Match is a great one.
Yesterday at work, and I have to say, your energy, your enthusiasm, the way it flows, it's mesmerizing. I'm like, wow. Like, I listened to a few podcasts, and they flow, they go, whatever. Like, yours, it's just, I don't know what it is. It's like some magical moment as soon as you hit record. I don't know what it is.
I like playing games. I like making podcasts. Really, truly. I mean, and it, you know, there's a lot of work. I mean, this is real podcaster honesty. There's a lot of work that goes into the show to get to that point where I can kind of kick back, have fun, and be mesmerizing. All of the like prep work that I do is so that like when we're sitting there playing a game, I don't have anything to stress about. It is the easiest thing in the world because like that's the part that I want to be working on. You know what I mean? Like that's the part that's fun. And so like all the prep work that I do is just getting me to a place where I get to do the fun stuff.
Yeah, your character's pre-generated.
Yeah.
You got maybe talking points, notes, whatever ideas already on the go.
All the safety stuff, all the prep stuff, all the tech stuff. Like, we do so much prep. I always say, like, my job as a podcaster, the stuff that I do on mic is the smallest part of it because everything that I'm doing is making it so that, like, that part is the best.
I gotta say, my other podcast, I mean, we're running an adventure, pre-written, all that. It's like the prep work is done for me. I show up, maybe everybody else shows up, we run the adventure, they take it where they gotta go. Never where I've planned, obviously, so Can't even prep that. And then we run off. Now this, like, it's me. It's a guest. The amount of prep work I'm throwing in now, it's definitely different. I mean, scripts. We didn't have scripts. We didn't have talking points. We just hit record and started talking. And now I got to follow segments, schedules, and all that. It's
a different beast.
It totally is. So, not every day is a good podcasting day. Everything's got its up and downs. What moment do you think about when you're like, fuck it, I'm done. I'm not going to podcast anymore. Everything just burned to the ground.
What's the moment that I really think about? Truly to me, the moment that I hold on to when I'm fully like, hey, fuck it, it's over. Like, I don't want to deal with this. I think about the moments, like, it's really, going back to what I said earlier, like, to me, it is getting to sit back. Like, I remind myself that I have gotten to play a game, hang out for an hour and a half, get to know on a personal level, at least for a little bit, at least in one kind of guided interaction, a bunch of people who have made work that I admire, who have inspired me in specific ways, and like get the, when the work of the show gets overwhelming, like, I will step back and acknowledge that and be like, you know what? People made stuff that I love, and I got to kind of like thank them for that in a public way on mic, play a game with them, share an experience. That's very cool. Right. It is very cool to me. Like, it's very, maybe the example that I've hung to the most this year, I had a specific moment with a specific guest that to me was the thing that kept me going when the last couple times I got fed up with everything that I was working on.
Oh, for sure. Right.
And that was mid-February. I recorded with a podcaster creator who I adore, Austin Walker, Friends at the Table, one of my favorite podcasts, one of my favorite writers, one of my favorite people. He and I recorded a game together. We both mutually kind of reached out to each other at the same time of like, hey, I like your stuff. Can we like do a thing? We reached out. We started playing it. We planned it in January. We put the thing on the calendar for mid-February. And a week before we hit record, an event happened in my other life, or in my life outside of TTRPGs, which is that my beloved, my angels, my faves forever, the Philadelphia Eagles, won an event called the Super Bowl. And Austin and I
may have heard something about that.
Maybe, I don't know. It made some headlines.
Yeah, one or two.
Austin and I both being gigantic fans of the Eagles, like, getting to sit on mic with somebody that I admire and play a game and have this personal experience and kind of like show what I do to someone whose work I admire and get to like kind of celebrate their work, but also just getting to be like, hey, let's just fucking lose our minds on mic for a few minutes because this is a thing that is important to us and we want to scream about it. That is the moment that has like kept me pushing through for the last like 6 months, because I'm like, that's what, beautiful. That's really special. Yeah. It's somebody that I admire whose work has meant a lot to me. We get to like show that in some way is incredible.
That is good. So you're going to be the first one to ever do this, Jeff.
Let's go.
We have what we call the roll for reflection.
Okay.
I have 2 tables. First one's going to be production reflection.
Okay.
So I heard some dice roll in there. I need you to roll me a D.
Okay. I only have, my go-to fidget lately has been a stack of chips, but I do have one D20 here. It is admittedly this size, so it is the largest D20 in the world. That's good audio, and that is a number 1.
Number 1. Really, a crit fail.
Crit fail. No. Let's go. What do we got?
What is your biggest production pet peeve?
Biggest production pet peeve. I've been doing this for a very long time. I think my biggest production pet peeve. I have to really think about this for a second, Because I feel like I'm pretty... a thing that no one who is ever truly easygoing has ever actually said, which is I think I'm pretty easygoing. Oh, you know what it is? You gotta... I'm circling.
It's hard to think of.
I'm circling. I'm circling the take.
Right?
I think, I think what it is, for me... I keep trying to push away from eating on microphone, but I think it's eating on microphone. I think it's just please don't make me have to edit out the chewing noises. Please don't make me have to do that. Please don't do that. Please respect your audio editor. Please just, if you're listening to this, please respect the person editing your audio.
Don't eat on fucking mic.
Don't eat on mic.
One of the guys at the podcast. We both 30 years in the Army, so there is not a quiet part on our bodies.
Oh, sure.
His whole head clicks when he chews.
Sure.
And he has the headphone with mic. So not only do you get the crunch, you get the click with every chew. And that is so hard to edit out. And it is so hard not to lose my shit every time.
Oh, sure. As you were saying that, I realized what my actual answer is. The thing that kills me more than anything else. The second that you said their whole head clicks and you can hear it with every word, that clicked it into place for me. I know what it is. Please, if you are listening to this, please wear headphones. Please.
Oh.
Every time, nothing has either killed more episodes or turned the creation of episodes into a complete nightmare than a guest does not bring headphones to the recording.
And they're listening off their computer.
And I'm coming through on the other side. And so when I go to edit, I can't mute it because it's too loud and present. It's too distorted, so I have to go through line by line and try to isolate your nightmare. My actual nightmare. And, it's not a thing... It's a thing where you can only very occasionally pick up, but because a lot of the software that we use automatically, syncs it up, cuts me off, I don't hear it until I hear your audio. Please, right. I am begging you, wear headphones.
If you take anything away from the show, if you're listening...
Headphones.
And don't eat on fucking mic.
Headphones. Mute yourself if you're going to eat.
Right.
I won't even go so far as to say don't eat. There's a mute button. There's a mute button.
Gummy bears. And because you just chew and you just click, 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 click. And just fuck it. Man, I'm getting some stuff out too. It's good. It's good.
Okay. Breathe and process.
Right? So now we're going to reflect on the game. So I'm going to get you to roll that D20 one more time.
That is an 11.
11. Best use of improvisation in a game.
Best use of improvisation in a game. It's a really good question.
We don't throw the lows, easy ones here.
You're swinging for the fences.
Right? No softballs.
This is not a Party of One episode we recorded, but it was another podcast we had recorded. It was like a crossover thing a few of us had done, including my friend that I mentioned the story about the spaceship game earlier. They and I were on an episode, a crossover thing together, and they had created a scenario. It was like a corporate horror scenario that a bunch of us were running through. We were at a corporate retreat, like a team building ropes course exercise retreat, and people were dying and disappearing and bodies were washing up on the beach. And we figured out over the course of the session, that what was happening was we were being brought to this retreat to quite literally be sacrificed to the gods of capitalism to promise a successful next quarter. And that's who the people getting voted were.
Yeah.
See if you can spot the metaphor there. I say that with love. And what had happened was there's a moment where at the climax of the game, we're all like in this room. The head, like the VP of the company, is threatening us with a knife, and one of our players who was like a junior HR team member is holding, like, there's a standoff with a knife. I forget who has the knife, but like we're all like in this tense showdown, and we're like, we don't know how we're gonna get out of this room. And I had a light bulb moment, and it was to me like what games are about. Because, like, we're all, like, rolling dice, and, like, you're traditionally supposed to, like, roll the dice and get into a death spiral. Your character's supposed to get murdered.
Right.
And, like, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, hold on. I think I need to make a big decision. I was like, I said to the GM, hey, I know that you've got an ending plan to this. Is it cool if I throw that entire planned ending out of the window right now? And to their credit, as an incredible GM, they're like, Jeff, I trust you. Do what you got to do. Let the story go where it goes.
Right.
And so I point to the other player who's got the knife, who's holding somebody, and I'm like, I need you to give me the knife. I need you to give me the knife. And they give me the knife. I point the knife at the VP. Like, I point the knife at the vice president, and I'm like, walk. And they start walking, and like I start describing him, like, my character, I'm like, you've won me over. My character has failed. Like, this is my character's bad ending. I was like, this is, and I kind of like, I paused because I'm like, let me explain to you where my head's at to the other players. I was like, I think my character has succumbed to the darkness. I think that my character, who has like been through this experience and like has been like fucked over by corporate culture all this time, has been like, they've presented the idea that there is like an ancient entity that will promise prosperity and success and stability if there's blood sacrifice. I was like, I think my character's bought in. I think they're on board. And I think we're about to feed this vice president to the evil god. We're not going to like try and escape. He's like, I was like, I'm not going to try and escape. I'm not going to try and, some salvation. I think that my character has gone to the dark side, and this is going to be my ending.
Raises for everybody. Yeah.
And I say this, and I said to the GM, I was like, that's where I want this to go. Are you cool with that? And they're like, Jeff, I'm thrilled. I said to the other players, I was like, that's where I'm going to go. And I kind of said, I was like, I know we talked a little bit about PvP, about like killing each other. If you want to go after me right now, do it. I was like, I'm giving you full permission to kill me, yell at me, whatever you want to do. And all the players sit down and go, Jeff, I was thinking the exact same thing about my character. Like, I was so close to it. And they're like, the fact that you said it out loud. And so we all just sit there for a second and go, I think we're going to sacrifice this vice president to the god of capitalism. And so we walked them out to the beach, and the god stared upon us. And we had that really classic, what's the horror trope? Good for her ending? Like the good for her ending where the god appears and she just kind of smiles. It was this moment of like, we had the rules, we had the structure, we had the adventure. But in that moment, we had all told a story together, and all four of us in the room went, oh fuck, I know where this story ends. They're like, I know where this story ends for these characters that we've created. And we all just kind of sat and went, we got to see this through. We got to like imagine where this goes and take this story to its conclusion. One of the best games I've ever played in my life.
Beautiful. And that's like the joy of role playing. There's no set. Like, you can do whatever you have to do if it moves the story along.
If it moved it into a direction that none of us had planned, and found a space that all of us were found really resonant, and we were just thrilled about it. And that to me is the magic of play.
Right. That's excellent. That's a great way to wrap all of this up. But before we go, where can people find Party of One and the rest? Because you do more than just Party of the One, the rest of your incredible work.
You can find all of my work at jeffstormer.com. That's the games that I make, the book that I've published, the podcasts I create. But also you can find Party of One at partyofonepodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And then you can follow me on social at jeffstormer.gobirds.online.
Right, so jeffstormer.com. Let's see what else we have here. We have Party of One, podcast.com, and then all your socials. That's excellent. Jeff, thank you so much for being my very first guest. I'm going to say I hit this out of the park.
I feel pretty good about it. Not a crit fail of a podcast production.
There we go. And like you said, when you get an email from somebody who, like, I threw out emails into the dark, and I'm so thankful that my sales pitch caught you.
Yeah.
And then we have this show now. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. It's like an hour never even existed. It went by way too fast. I appreciate it. If you ever think of any new fails or fortunes and you want to come back on, just shoot me an email anytime. I'm sure
great.
with 460 episodes, 375 TTRPGs, you've got more than one story.
I'm sure I got a couple more in the tank.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Next week on Fail and Fortune, we're joined by Nathan Lurs, creator and voice behind Reckless Attack, a fast-paced, hilarious actual play with some seriously chaotic moments. Nathan shares how he navigates the wild ups and downs of recording a high-energy show, including the times tech issues threaten to derail everything. If you've ever battled audio glitches or lost your files mid-season, you won't want to miss this one.